What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the canceled planned 2010 album by 36 Mafia. This is the 10th one as far as this is going to happen. Basically, this product is called Laws of Power, and it was supposed to come out in the summer of 2010. So the thing about this product here is just within the pitch behind it. Originally, this album was worked on throughout 2009. Basically, after 2008's Last to Walk, that particular fair, they were working on a project, and there was some hype about it throughout 2008 and 2009. Basically, Juicy J and DJ Paul said that they were going to drop a series of solo albums, which they did. Those are both excellent type fare. Basically, DJ Paul's Scale-A-Ton album from the spring of 2009 and Juicy J's Hustle Till I Die from the spring of 2009. Juicy J's Hustle Till I Die album from the spring of 2009. Now, both of those were pretty vicious. I gave both those 10s out of 10 back when I reviewed them in 2024, but the pitch behind it, after they got those solo products taken care of, they were going to release Laws of Power in the fall of 2009. Never happened because the singles didn't catch on, and back in those days in the 2000s, if you were dropping singles, then they didn't do super terrific, at least like... they didn't do super terrific, chances are your album wasn't coming out, which is unfortunate, despite the fact that they released like the album cover and pitches like that, and they dropped a number of songs, and they worked on the album, probably completed it within those fashions. It just got jet lagged and then just never happened. Now, look after here, the 3 singles, I kind of comprise like a super playlist within this tone. I think there probably were going to be more songs. There's a number of songs that were kind of floating around. There's 2 versions of this mixtape. There's 2 versions of this unreleased album, one of which is the one I'm going to review now, but there's another mixtape type version that actually got released in somewhat, maybe not an official format, but at least a product that you can relatively download, and that's the pitch that has like 22, 23 songs on there. Some of the songs are off of this particular version of Laws of Power, but some of which have some new songs on their pitches like that. But chances are they were probably recorded 2009, 2008, 2010 when this album was being worked on. I will eventually review that mixtape because it has some new treats on there, at least 13 that I noticed that are different from the songs on here within those pitches, so I'm going to get to that. But this particular variation of the album, I think, had a lot to do with the original format as to how it was going to happen in the fall of 2009 or the summer of 2010, so I definitely want to review this one because this, to me, the one that's on Discogs, pitches like that, lists the track listing. Basically, I was able to review, out of 15 songs in here, I was able to review every last one, minus the song Ride, and that really has some scant details. I'm not really sure as to anything about that. I was trying to look around for that song on YouTube, couldn't find it, couldn't find any details on Google and pitches like that. So I'm just not sure where that particular song generated from or what the conduct of it kind of was. So that's the only one, so it narrows it down to 14 songs. Then out of those 14, there's another song on here. There's another song on here that I reviewed in the past. So some of these songs, realizing that the comprisement about this product has some relative kind of ones that are kind of scrappy and on other type products that are just kind of loosey from 2009 mixtapes or just things like that. I realized because Juicy J and DJ Paul did not actually officially drop the track list or fairs like that, it's kind of difficult, but there were a lot of ones that were detailed. Like I do feel like Shots After Shots with Tech 9 was originally supposed to be on the 2009-2010 Laws of Power. Same thing with the 2009 single Feelin' It, which was a single that was dropped in that particular time. Ike Turner Pimpin' probably was. The song with Waka Flocka and Project Pat, Keep My Name Out Your Mouth, Trump Got Wang, some of those type ones. I do think there are some ones on there intended for the 2009-2010 Laws of Power. But look after Let Me Hit That as just a song that was originally from 2005-2006, the most known hits, which I reviewed back in 2020. So that actually is pretty excellent type fare. I would just pick up that particular album because it basically has like greatest hits of 36 Mafia up to 2005, and that has some secret extra treats on there, and that Let Me Hit That song's one of those. That narrows it down on the Discogs track listing in 13 songs. But my particular playlist has 14 because I looked after it. I added a song that was a single that was released intended for Laws of Power back in 2009-2010 that was not included on this track list for whatever reason. Definitely should have been. But the thing about the singles is these continue to be around. Like 36 Mafia does have these singles that were released in 2009 on their YouTube page, so it's kind of difficult for them to kind of be downloadable type fare. Because I think you can at least purchase them and comprise your own playlist for them, but it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying that the format behind it, that despite the fact that the album never came out, it's kind of within the pitch that they held on to these songs that they did back in those days. They're just not released to like public value as far as this first album. So it's within the pitch. That particular song that is not on the Discogs track listing is Shake My Ass, which is another nice single off this product that did pretty well. Now, this song didn't chart that heavily, but still excellent type of appeal to get on here. None of the singles really charted off here. Little Freak, Ugh 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 didn't chart that well, and that wound up being a song for Juicy J's 2009 album. And then, like, Feelin' It was like a very good EDM type song that didn't chart that heavily either. So that's the reason why this album didn't come out, because those three singles didn't chart at all. They just couldn't find a hit as large as Lolly Lolly like they did back in 2008. And that album, the 2008 album, seemed like it barely came out as well, because all four of the singles from Last to Walk, apart the other 2 or 3 singles from Last to Walk, apart from Lolly Lolly, really charted pretty terribly within that album. So I feel like that album from 2008 kind of barely came out as well. But still, The Pitch, that is a classic. Recommend that one and the Last to Walk mixtape. But to look after it here, just to kind of synopsis like this album, I definitely feel like the thing I love about Laws of Power, and I knew this back in 2009 before I got to this product, this is, like, I have not listened to these songs off this album up to this point, so it's just the pitch as far as saying I knew this album was going to be a treat. I knew this particular album was going to be a treat. I just realized just by the song titles, pitches like that, this album is going to be a lot more vicious, and I was basically right about that. The tone about this album is the notches behind this album are just a little bit more vicious, a little bit more turned up. It's basically like the same type format of Juicy J's Hustle Till I Die, and to a certain extent kind of DJ Paul's Scale-a-ton. It's just kind of a pitch where it's just a little bit rattled and ungathered, just a little bit more clammy, and just with an aspect of just kind of saying that the ungatheredness about this product just has more cut loose and just a lot more there's a lot more cut loose and just kind of sweaty brow type pitches as far as the aspect of just really getting turned some of those type formats. So it's just, I feel like the format, it just has a lot more just kind of, this particular album, Laws of Power, just has a lot more jarriness just within the tone as far as saying that it just feels like the viciousness. This is different from last. This album is different from 2008's Last to Walk as far as those pitches kind of happen. This particular album is different from 2008's Last to Walk as far as this pitch kind of happen. It just doesn't have that same kind of clean polish as far as this pitch kind of happen. A lot of this just feels not necessarily gungy, but within the process of just saying it's this house party sleaze that just kind of has the aspects of really having red cuts pretty hella bound within pitches like that, where it would be kind of the concept. This is easily kind of one of those ones where it would have a house party type facet with like a warning label as far as this pitch kind of happen. Just the songs on here, it kind of mixes things like some EDM, but 3-6 Mafia's variation to EDM is definitely pretty vicious on here. It has like a pretty good offshoot of like Lady Gaga's Poker Face on here, which is some excellent aspects. There's kind of a more turn up and crunk type aspect of that particular song. This that same sort of go-go bounce, just a little bit more vicious. Some of those type ones, the gothic kind of Dracula type tunes on here that 3-6 Mafia is known for are just they're just kind of ferally more haunting. And some of these Juicy J leftovers, like some of the songs off this product are not, they don't actually feature DJ Paul on here every single time, but some of these ones like Stupid High and like I'm Gutted Bruh are just, they feel like Juicy J leftovers that were intended for Hustle Till I Die but didn't wind up on there. And there's some other ones like Let's Get High that had DJ Paul in there. So I think there's a number of songs. I feel like the Juicy J album Hustle Till I Die in a lot of senses were some of the formats that were originally going to be for 3-6 Mafia but just became Juicy J, more so than the Scale-a-ton type project. But it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying these are just definitely extra gothic, some of these type ones. I did appreciate like the Low Down 666 Posse songs, another excellent type one within those pitches. It's just a lot more shrouded. Just the aspect behind this album is just I definitely feel like it just returns 3-6 Mafia to some of their hauntingness from like their 90s days and pitches like that, but it retains like the commercial type aspects like the bite. So it's surprising that this album didn't catch on. Within these pitches here, I'll go ahead and talk about the single as far as those pitches can happen. But yeah, Shake My Ass is the lead single, pitches like that. Now, this particular song has a chick named Kalena on the hook as far as those pitches can happen. Excellent type of feel. It's like a more loose and vicious sequel to Lolly Lolly, I'd have to say, within those pitches. Just similar kind of go-go vibes. Like I said, feels like an offshoot of Poker Face. Some of those type pitches, just 3-6 Mafia and like some go-go type heat. This the aspect of like minor EDM but more electro pop just within those formats. Just kind of an in-between type fashion. It's kind of an in-between type fashion of the way electro pop and kind of EDM type music was getting to in late 2008 and late 2009, some of the stuff there. So just the vicious type aspect is real surprising. This song, like I was saying, just didn't have more kind of aspects about it, but this is a great get tore up. So it's just kind of the pitch of just advancing like some of those type formats. This definitely should have been a lot more welcome within the pitch as far as those pairs go. But I just think the tone behind this 3-6 Mafia really had like some gloss about this album. This is all three of the singles just feel like formats that probably should have had a lot more accolades within the pitch as far as just the expression behind it. Definitely would have said that this would have been some classic type appeals. I think I definitely think in retrospect it's easy to appreciate the concept that this is probably music that should have been in stores. Now, Lil Freak, Ugh 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 is a nice one as well. This has Webby on there, and I think on like the Juicy J version it has Project Pats within those pitches, but this was later, this particular song was later used for like the Juicy J album from 2009. He kept on to this song along with a number of songs off this particular product, at least in the Discog sense. This particular song is like a clammy and woozy kind of strip club heater, kind of get within these aspects here, just very vicious within the tones. So yeah, just the tone behind this product, like I said, the thing about Laws of Power is just the fact that this doesn't hide the concept of really having the aspect behind getting tore up within those tones. Or like the weather, the aspect behind 2008's Last to Walks, it had like some moments for like some day sunshine pitches like that, but this is kind of the product as far as saying, yep, we're really going to pull out the stops, get to some of those type pitches. Just a real format that this is classic type of PL, just the same aspect. Juicy J and DJ Paul really had some excellent type fares within those pitches as far as the turn up that they were getting to around these times. I mean, 3-6 Mafia probably, you couldn't get too much wilder than 3-6 Mafia, at least in an album type format back in 2009 and 2010. That's just the pitch of this. That's why this album is so damaging, is just because the concept is just like, I mean, it just feels necessary. It just feels like there's just an empty spot missing for the format of this album not coming out. I just have consistently thought about this album for like the past 15 years, just realizing that it never came out, but definitely I'm glad that there's at least these songs available, pitches like that. So I would definitely look into this project somehow. And Feel It was another single off this project. Now this was a top 80 single in the Billboard 100. Shake My was a top 75. Like I said, I guess that wasn't popular enough for like the labels as far as this first guy having two top 80 singles on the Billboard 100, but these are excellent on here. This is like a taste of how hammered things would have gotten for like the particular 3-6 Mafia pitches like that. This is a taste of how hammered things could get within those pitches. Just turn heavier than Lolly Lolly, I'd say within those pitches, just an EDM kind of bash as far as those first happens. So just the pitch. This one is less electro pop and go-go than Shake My Ass, but this particular one feels just the pitch like that blossoming kind of EDM sound as that was starting to happen with David Guetta and the folks like David Guetta and Pitbull and some of those type folks within the format, LMFAO, some of those type pitches, and Lil Jon, just the aspect of getting towards that particular tone. I think this Tiesto cat really nails some vibes on here. Sean Kingston is on the song Flow Rida, some of those type folks. So it really felt like 3-6 Mafia went with the trends trying to get some of these type formats to get out, but this kind of pitch, once again, this is so many type times where I look after like hit or canceled albums that just had a lot of struggle within the aspects behind it, and these would have been really thrilling. It's just it amazes me the concept as to these products just not coming out for the stubbornness of the fact of what particularly goes on. So I look after this as an easy kind of classic. It feels in a lot of senses it just feels foolish to not really put out this particular album. But regardless, it's some heat. This would have to say here within those pitches. So just another taste of just the blistering type of appeal. Yeah, I look after it here. So yeah, basically out of the 14 songs I was talking about on this playlist, I recommend all 14. So just simple enough, 10 out of 10, just clean sweep, just easily kind of bound with them pitches like that. Like I said, the vicious type tone in this project, just one after the other. I'm just going to go down the list with some of these. Like Chunk Got Wang is an excellent example. It's like a classic melter from 3-6 that I had to say here. Just get hella turned. Bass for days off this particular song. Just feels like Caprice music by Tum Tum. Some of that pitch, just that typical kind of thump about it. Good nice one for some vehicle knock. It's a good nice one for some vehicle knock, and this is just a feel great kind of bop to kind of get here. So it's just the product, just getting like some good kind of stunt type music with an aspect behind it. Easily, like it says, Trunk Got Wings, some of that pitches, but it's just the format. Really some house party type noise as well. This definitely works for like a good block thump, just within the pitch of being responsible with it, to where folks don't, for like cherry tops and pitches like that don't get called up for like the crazy factor getting too high, but definitely has some blistering type appeal. Easy kind of fraternize noise pitches like that. Keep My Name Out Your Mouth is a nice one that says Project Pat and Walk a Flock of Flame on here. Surprisingly, Project Pat is not on here a super ton, which I think within the product, I think there probably would have eventually been more songs because he was on Last to Walk quite a few times, but Keep My Name Out Your Mouth is a surprising type one. It's like a glissy kind of night venue surfing kind of get here just amidst like the format of typical kind of outs pitches like that, but this is a surprisingly calm song for the folks on this particular pitch as far as this first going to happen. Project Pat and Walk a Flock of Flame, 3-6 Mafia, Project Pat, and Walk a Flock of Flame are all relative, just kind of Project Pat, 3-6 Mafia, and Walk a Flock of Flame are all relatively on just like sleepwalk mode on this particular song, and just I feel like the production fare, I would have figured that they would have went with something drill related. I want to say that Keep My Name Out Your Mouth came out after the particular hit song by Waka Flocka, like Harden the Pain as far as this first happens. So it's just very surprising that Waka Flocka was just not, he didn't give like 3-6 Mafia something drill related or something kind of Lex Luger bound that could have been an offshoot of that particular format as he was tearing things up in 2010, especially with Project Pat involved in those type pitches. But The particular song is pretty star. It's just a star-studded type of appeal, but it's just kind of pitch that just relatively more. It's relatively more straightforward within like the night glitz compared to like the rest of the craziness off this album. Still good type pitches. Ike Turner Pimp is a nice one. Now this has Billy West and Slim Thug on here, which is a good type pitch. This is Ike Turner Pimp is like a vibey kind of 3-6 Mafia soulful roll around as far as this pitch can go. Summery kind of haunting buzz song to kind of get within these aspects here. Just some gothic Junes and July as far as this pitch can happen. So just the midst, like the format of this 3-6 Mafia is kind of hauntingness, but just more in the aspect of like summertime songs type pitches about it. It's kind of, we're just getting 3-6 Mafia, but just kind of within the tone of just more in the hot weather. So it's just good aspect to be able to have for some of these. Do you like the soulful hook from Billy West on here as far as the do you like the soulful hook from Billy West on here, and Slim Thug is a nice touch as well. So it's just the pitch as far as saying, it's particularly getting some more ride-out type ones. I do like some of these ride-out type ones within fashion as far as bringing 3-6 Mafia back to that. It's kind of the format that some of the previous type ones, like Most Known Unknown and Last to Walk, didn't really have those pitches, but still it's pretty horrifying within the pitch as far as this first happens. So it's just an excellent type pitch of just getting 3-6 Mafia back on those vibes as far as this first going to happen. So summer bound, but it's gothic, which is definitely some good type feel. So just great one to get tore up to. Shots After Shots with Tech 9 is a real blistering type one. This is like a large reason why this album should have happened. I definitely have to say, I kind of figured this is one of the reasons why I figured this album was going to be pretty vicious. Have not listened to this song prior to recently, but it's just like I figured it'd be. It's like a house party kind of gore fest to kind of get here, and this is like a good song to get super crunk to within some type pitch. So this is just some of those type ones that just feels like songs ripped out of like the Hustle Till I Die album by Juicy J, some of those type pitches, and I'm Drunk off of DJ Paul's Skeleton, some of those type pitches within the format. It's consistent, kind of get hammered within some of those type pitches within the aspects. So this has that particular blistering type tone. This has that particular kind of blistering type tone within it. This typical kind of house party type noise. Just another example of this album being craze factor real high. Let's Get High, the remix is on this particular one. Now I realize I think it does not designate the fact as far as saying that Let's Get High was any different, but I think it's just Let's Get High with just DJ Paul on there. But there is a remix that I included on my playlist, which is pretty good within the pitch. It has the same relative type production, but this has some good aspects on there. So Let's Get High is like 2009 Let's Get High is like a 2009 Juicy J standout to kind of get here. The 3-6 version, the 3-6 Mafia version, a new remix is like a crisp kind of aghast ire as far as those pitch can go. So just the product of basically same song as it was in 2009, just having DJ Paul in there. So it's really unfortunate that some of these songs just didn't happen within those formats, but it's just excellent type of appeal within it. Dollar Signs with Billy West on the hook and Rick Ross on here is an excellent type one as well. It's like a taste of early 2010s mixtape grit to kind of get. This 3-6 and Rick Ross on like a super hungry kind of evening makeshift as far as this fair is going to have. So this basically like getting a Dat Piff kind of hustlers makeshift, some of those type formats just amidst like 615, some of those type aspects like the evening fair. It's kind of within the tone of just like a darker shift type one, just within the gasness of it. Last to Walk from 2008 was pretty good about those pitches, just not in a mixtape type format, but I feel like this getting like a Dat Piff song, if you're looking for like that typical kind of Dat Piff mixture of like some hunger pitches like that, there's not a ton of real kind of amidst like the grind type fashions. 3-6 Mafia is pretty established by this particular point. Usually they're pretty more gothic within the tone and just more horrifying, but this is a good aspect, just like some of that hunger, just hopping towards like Money Gets and some of those type modes, so this level up some of those type fairs. A good aspect. Good type tone. Cali High is a real blistering type one. Now this is like a morosely evil kind of vintage 3-6 Mafia darkness kind of get here, just like 2008's Rolling. Some of those type ones is very souped up kind of Dracula music within those tones. It's very crisp just within the tones. The format, it's particular songs like this that really have the aspect that this really feeds into the hunger, like the aspect of why Laws of Power should happen. I figured that they probably had millions of these to kind of crank out within those aspects, and this particularly proves it within those tones. It's a consistent aspect for some of those type tones within it. So Cali High is just stock and factory kind of 3-6 Mafia bangers, some of those type aspects. It's very morose and morbid within the tones. It's real dark. It's real excellent Shrouds of Evil as far as what's fair is going to happen, just like the pitch behind it. Feet Off the Ground's a real nice one as well. It's like a glaring and pounding kind of head trip bounce to kind of get here within the aspect of my head trip. I just mean really the aspect of getting some smokish type fair, just social kind of tore up, I'd have to say, and this just has an ungathered feel about it. So it's just in the pitch. One of those type ones where you're really feeling the concept. Probably one of these ones where you'd have to sit down a bit and kind of watch your weight as far as this fair is going to happen, just kind of more. It's kind of getting towards the concept of slowing it down, kind of the warning signs of just like, all right, this not going to get kind of have to mind your P's and Q's a little bit better, figure out how you're going to get home some of those type pitches within format. Just kind of excellent aspects for some of those type of appeals. Some of these type ones, I mean, this is the product of how some of these type moments kind of happen. It's just within pitch. I mean, there were tear up type moments on Last to Walk within some of those type pitches, but I just feel like the polish on that particular one. This particular album is just like this particular album, 2010's Laws of Power, is just like 2008's Last to Walk, just without the polish. So this one just does not have like the kickstand this time as far as saying watch your diet and just kind of be more healthy within the aspect. This is just a particular one that just has less filter about it. So it's really the pitch. That's really why I feel like this album has some vicious type aspects. But some of these other type ones, these Juicy J leftovers are excellent as well. Stupid High and I'm Gutted Bruh both have a little white on here. These feel like songs that were probably intended for like Juicy J's 2009 album or something like that. Not really as full bound sure, but both these songs, Stupid High and I'm Gutted Bruh, don't have DJ Paul on here. Stupid High is like a classic late 2000s in general kind of Juicy J, little white gothness to kind of get within these aspects. There's kind of some aghast surfing in it, I'd say, and the song shreds pretty well. It's kind of the pitch as far as saying, so just night shift type tones, just more this particular song is just more car commerce pitches like that, just easy kind of after hours kind of night pickups and those type pitches within format, just kind of within the tone, just homies kind of easy kind of smoke noise, tipple type fare. I mean, I look within the aspect, it's actually surprising that one of the most recent 3-6 Mafia albums actually doesn't have full bound, more snack run type songs on here. It's kind of more to like a relative minimum within some type pitches. Just when you think of like, if you're like, where's the Taco Bell run songs, where's the Arby's run songs, some of those type pitches, where's the Burger King type ones within pitches. It actually doesn't have as many. There's not as much kind of residential kind of hopping. I mean, this is a very get tore up type project within the songs that are particularly comprised of this. But when you think of the formats of this, I mean, Hustle Till I Jive, Juicy J's Hustle Till I Die from 2009, DJ Paul's Skeleton separately were both pretty good snack run type appeals. But I think apart from Stupid High, which doesn't have DJ Paul, and I'm Gutted Bruh, this kind of pitch doesn't have his full bound, but there are a couple on here. Stupid High's a nice snack run type one, so just vintage 3-6 Mafia within those aspects in like a dark sense. It's real haunting, a little bit more gas than normal. Some of these are pretty sheer compared to like the stuff that had happened up to that point. So it's excellent aspects. Same thing with I'm Gutted Bruh. The thing about this particular song is this also has V Slash on here. I'm going to have to get to their music, supposing that there was some within the pitch. And it's not like V Slash is a they, but just the pitch as far as me saying I just don't know a ton about V Slash. But just excellent aspects. This feels like a leftover from 2009 Juicy J's Hustle Till I Die. This like a secret kind of continued banger, I'd have to say here, in this vintage kind of snack run type music. So this the aspect. Same sort of terrifyingness just within those aspects. Same terrifyingness within those aspects, just consistent kind of just out and about, just neighborhood crawls, pitches like that. So easy kind of Taco Bell run type song within those pitches. And then Low Down 666 is an excellent type one. Now there's varying ones about this song, one of which is a little bit lengthier, but I do like the shorter one that just is like 4.5 minutes. And those type pitches like an excellent shredder to kind of get here, just routine kind of late shift smokage and pickups. Pitches like that, I'd say just Tibble kind of get burritos and Chex Mix Bugle, some of those type aspects within the tone behind it. Just kind of some homies ups as far as those pitches kind of goes. So by homies up, I mean just getting some standard dab, the pitches of like kickback, smoking a swisher or two with them, and just having like the standard catch up and some of those type formats within it. So it's good type tones. For the most part, this particular album is not as full bound kind of within the social type factor. It's not to say it's not social, but it's just more within the pitch of just being more centered on like the tear up at hand. This is really one, and I like the particular tone about this, but this is really like the focus on the particular aspect behind like the blitz type factor on here is heavier than pretty much any 3-6 Mafia album I'd seen up to this point. So it's kind of the pitch where even like the homies type moments, when you think of some moments like popping my collar or something, you think of 3-6 Mafia moments like popping my collar, some of those type ones, and you think of 3-6 Mafia moments like popping my collar and some of those type ones, and it's really not terribly many songs for ladies is full bound either. Like Pussy Got You Hooked, some of those type pitch. Not like it doesn't have songs for ladies. The singles definitely are within that, but it's just kind of pitch of this, the focus, and I'm completely fine with this, but it's just kind of concept as far as like it's just not. This project from like the 14 songs that we're seeing is just not as full bound varietized within the concept. So if you're just looking for like the community type aspects, the usual 3-6 Mafia type fare, and the more ladies centered kind of juggalette type tunes, pitches like that, some of those type ones, and just the pitch of like some more formats. This is pretty much song after the other is just house party type snarl. This really nails it down within the pitch. You're really going to get tore up. If you are not tore up to this particular product, I'd probably say that something's wrong if you're fucking with this the way that it's intended to be. So just understand this is an easy kind of warning label type album within those pitches, just the singles, just everything in between, just pitch like that. Even when they're particularly kind of cruising around, it just has that particular affluence about it. So good type tones. To that end, 10 out of 10 score. Social Score within that same format gets a 10 out of 10. There's a minor amount of makeshift on here, some Some minor amount of makeshift on here, some car surfing within the aspects of just between like summer hops and a gothic type sense, and this is the pitch like some crisp kind of Dracula type fare, so just the pitch. For the most part, it's dealing with the format. You're either you either hammered out your mind or you're within the pitch of disc working on the product and figuring out what these next moves are going to be towards that particular product. So it's just the pitch. Not like I'm complaining whatsoever. I'm completely fine. To me, it's like a classic that could be listened to every single day within those pitches for quite some time. Just within the aspect of this vintage kind of 3/6 Mafia, and probably one of their best. I like this one in certain senses. If this would have been an official track list, I probably like this one more than Last to Walk, which Last to Walk is an easy kind of forever classic within Suicide Tones. And a lot of those, just like Hustle Till I Die is forever classic, Scale Tones forever classic, some of those type ones. I mean, most of these 3/6 Mafia ones from the 2000s, 2010s, is easy kind of ones that just have that consistent kind of forever classic type tone. But this is another one for that particular staple, and this just comes from like a comprised kind of track list. I know probably when I reviewed the 2022 mixtape edition that was released later on, it has 23 songs in there. I'll probably like that one as well. We'll see what happens, but to be honest. So in terms of the future, like 3/6 Mafia has unfortunately dissipated. They did come back minus Juicy J with Mafia 6, which I need to get to that 2015 album. So unless I pitches, I reviewed a couple of the Mafia 6 mixtapes back in 2015 in my early days to Acid Roots, but I'll get to some more of these. Definitely, there's plenty more 3/6 Mafia to get to, but this is an easy kind of classic. This very terrifying pitches like that, one of their most aghast and super tore up type product. That's real ungathered. It's really like the tone behind it. This excellent one.